ladies and gentlemen, to WWE Smackdown February 28th, 2017 review. Yeah, it's been a while since I did another review, or any kind of video work, actually. Just recently been dealing with some personal issues in my life, so I haven't really had a whole lot of time to pay much attention or really do a whole lot of work on my YouTube channel for you guys. I do apologize. I'm trying my best. I know I've come out and said a lot of things about what I'm going to do on this channel and haven't done it yet, simply because of other things in my personal life. But I'm not going to get into any of that stuff. So I do apologize to you guys, though, that I haven't been doing videos at least once a week for all of you. But I am here. I'm going to go ahead, do this video. I'm also going to be uploading a video about the preview to Fastlane. And my god, what a fucking horrendous pay-per-view this seems to be turning out to be. But I'll get into that in the next video. So, getting on to Smackdown from last night. This episode was fucking awesome as shit. It put freaking go-away home show for Raw as like a piece of garbage. This should have been the type of quality we were getting the night before on Monday Night Raw, and we only got a couple of things, and it all dealt with building up towards WrestleMania for Monday Night Raw. Everything else on Raw the night before was absolute complete garbage and did not help close the show leading up to their own personal pay-per-view. So, this being the case, SmackDown beat the living shit out of Raw this past week. Technically, SmackDown has been beating Raw's ass every week. In storyline telling, quality, action-wise, everything. They give them longer matches. There's fewer matches on SmackDown than Raw, but quantity versus quality, you want to take quality over quantity. So, we get quality work done in the ring by WWE on SmackDown. Raw is more of a joked out show, but I'm going to get straight up, just strictly with SmackDown here. SmackDown's episode was awesome. Start off the night with Miz calling out John Cena. We're getting the build up for Miz, John Cena going at it at WrestleMania pretty much, and having the girlfriend/wives involved in this storyline. So we're going to have a mixed tag team gender match going into WrestleMania 33. That's perfectly fine. I mean, based on just what they did, that was awesome. I think what they did here will definitely help build towards a really good match, despite the fact that the quality that we were expecting for John Cena to have at WrestleMania isn't quite the same, but given what they're working with and what they're giving John Cena, Miz and John Cena are blending well together based on what they did last night, excuse me. Last night they said a lot of personal stuff. They were got into a lot of things. Miz pointed out how John Cena is a hypocrite, such as the fact that he said that Rock was a freaking Hollywood star and he turned his back on WWE, and now John Cena is starting to do the same thing. He's going ahead, he's leaving WWE for a few months or almost 6 months to a half a year, and doing things in Hollywood, in such as television shows, reality shows, anything that gets him out of the ring. And then he pops back up and he says, I'm getting my world championship match at the Royal Rumble. He wins, and then he loses the belt altogether to Bray Wyatt in the Elimination Chamber. He also states how he buries everybody, the typical nonsense that other WWE superstars use as a crutch to help build a storyline with John Cena. I personally feel that it's more of a crutch for other guys that are rivaling with John Cena when they get more personal with him. They always use the John Cena buries everybody routine. which is kind of, to me, getting old. But John Cena came back with a great comeback towards that comment. He goes on to say, and he doesn't kind of like break the third wall sort of thing. He doesn't go ahead and say, hey, this is all scripted, but he does give the audience the general idea. Of course, it is scripted. Everyone knows that, but kind of hints a little bit towards it as if, yeah, if I wanted to middle my way to a big WrestleMania match, I sure as hell wouldn't be standing in the middle of the ring with you, bickering and arguing about bullshit, when I could be in a match with The Undertaker going up against him. And I sure as hell don't see you as no quality level of The Undertaker, but if you keep pushing my buttons, you will be a dead man. And I thought that was very creative. And honestly, a lot of people would say, wow, that's downgrading The Miz. No, that's not. When you're comparing The Undertaker to The Miz, are you fucking kidding me? Undertaker has looked at the quality of winning a world championship. If you get a chance to be at WrestleMania to face The Undertaker, and you had a choice between The Undertaker and The Miz, you would take The Miz? You gotta be out of your fucking mind. Really, honestly, you have to be out of your freaking mind. You gotta be wanting to face The Undertaker. I don't care how long you've been in the company. I don't care if you're the Hulk Hogan. I don't care if you're The Rock. I don't care if you're Triple H. I don't care if you're Shawn Michaels. I don't care if you're any big name star. At any level point in time in your career that you have reached the pinnacle height of your career or been there for such a long time, and you don't want to face The Undertaker at WrestleMania if you're not getting a world title shot at WrestleMania against a champion, you're a fucking idiot. That is bottom line the point. They're giving The Undertaker to Roman Reigns. They're feeding Undertaker to Roman Reigns. That's what they're doing here. And that is really fucking pathetic. Honestly, we should be seeing John Cena facing The Undertaker for the World Championship. Undertaker should be retiring as a World Champion. That's how they should be doing this. But on the flip side of things, you got Bray Wyatt. Champion. Young star. Guy is coming up in the ranks in WWE. People are still having a following with him despite how WWE's been treating him of late over the last few years. And Randy Orton is right there with him. One-on-one. And then we now have a different thing involved with AJ Styles winning his match against Luke Harper, which by the way, just skipping through things, that was a fucking awesome match. Luke Harper looked great. Luke Harper even performed good, and AJ Styles performed extremely well. So I actually enjoyed watching that match. That was the match of the night. There was really no other matches that were that great. Maybe the 2 out of 3 falls with the women, but even that didn't really grab my interest all that much. Bottom line is, I mean, you got a lot of shit going on at one time. John Cena and The Miz, not exactly what you call something that you would want to go ahead and work with. You probably would want to find something better. But, with all that being said, I honestly feel that the way they did this was great. And then Maurice, after John Cena, after he said what he had to say at that point, he also stated some other things I forgot to mention with this. He also mentions that he is a reality TV joke. He ripped off Chris Jericho. He ripped off Daniel Bryan. And just some other stars that he claims that he ripped off those gimmicks to claim as his own. While John Cena has played himself in just a higher volume of who he is in real life. And that's truthful about these guys. These guys are playing themselves only in a upper level volume of who they really are in real life. That's all they're doing. And those are the ones that really get by as great superstars, as great performers. When you got guys that are playing this, and that's not really the performer's fault. That is actually WWE. They should be saying, what do you want to do? What kind of character would you like to play? What would you like to put to the table with the character you're playing? Because they're the ones at the end of the day going out there and putting on and selling themselves to the WWE audience. And that goes for any other wrestling company. You're out there, you're a performer, you're selling. You're selling yourself. You're selling who you are, and what you can do in the ring as either performer in the ring and also mic skills. That is what you're developing here. You got a personality, you're going to make it. You got fucking skills out the yin-yang, you're going to make it. And that's how it should work. But a lot of times there's a lot of political bullshit, and that's what drags WWE to the fucking ground. I don't particularly see WWE back in the day being the same way as they are now. They're too company-like feel. They're not like, a wrestling promotion company. They're just a company. Like Chase or any big name company you can think of in the world. There's a lot of companies where they're small. They're very kind to the customers. They treat the customer with care. They value the customer because they're not a fucking number. They're another person that the other person's dealing with on the line. Just speaking like health insurance or anything like that. And you can compare that to wrestling as well. You got a lot of wrestling companies that value the opinions of the wrestling audience. They care about what they have to say. They care about what they think about the program and the product itself. And WWE used to be that way. See, WCW did those things caring only about what they want instead of developing young stars, and that's why they're no longer competing at all. And that's why they're out of business. WWE, they're doing similar things, but in some other cases, they're not. Smackdown is definitely one of those cases where we are getting what we want to see. We want to see realism. We want to see them acting as themselves, not being so stricted in what to say and do on the microphone. And thankfully, on SmackDown, we get more of realism than phony, scripted bull hockey that we could give two shits less about that we can't connect with. And that's the problem with WWE, and I'm sure all of you already know that. Just pointing it out there anyway. But, make things short and sweet, because I have gone on a long while about this whole segment itself. Nikki Bella comes out after Maurice slaps John Cena in the face and calls her out and says, the next time you want to put your hands on my man, I'm going to get you, you damn bitch. And that was pretty freaking cool. That felt more adult. It didn't feel so childish and ridiculous. Very good segment by John Cena and The Miz. I absolutely love both of their commentary about each other. And then the ending segment of that with Nikki Bella coming out calling Maurice a bitch. I thought that was awesome. Very good segment. Then we got the first match of the night. We had Becky Lynch go up against Mickie James in 2 out of 3 falls match. As I already stated, this match wasn't all that intriguing, especially with the fact there were so many commercial breaks in this match. It was about 3 commercial breaks altogether. And you would have thought that you were watching a shitty Monday Night Raw episode based on this match alone because of the commercials. But Becky Lynch wins the 2 out of 3 falls, the typical 2 to 1 ratio there. And Becky Lynch gets the win with the disarmor after she get her second win against Mickie James. This is the second time in a row Mickie James has fallen to Becky Lynch. She has also lost to Asuka for the NXT Women's Championship. Now, granted, that's the NXT Women's title. She's coming in the first time back in a while, and expecting her to win that is just ridiculous. But for her to come in and lose 2 straight matches to Becky Lynch, I think is a little bit overkill and kind of dragging Mickie James down to the ground, practically. Pretty much burying her in the sense. So I don't particularly like what they're doing with Mickie James lately. I think they need to get her some string of wins to better her in her fight with other superstars on this program. But overall, I mean, the match wasn't great. It wasn't horrible. I mean, I'd give it a 2.5 out of 5 stars. So the next thing after that, we had Alexa Bliss get interviewed from the outcome of the match between Becky Lynch and, or not Becky Lynch, Alexa Bliss got interviewed by one of the commentators backstage, asking her, so with the outcome of the match between Becky Lynch and Mickie James, how do you feel about the situation and what happened with the altercation between you and Mickie James? She went ahead and she said, wait a second, this is the first week of my title reign. I won my title back last week, and all you had to say to me is about that? Why not ask me about how it feels to be a 2-time world champion in the women's division with the most wins on SmackDown right now, the most title wins on SmackDown? And so she asks that, typical bullshit, blah, blah, blah. And then Natalya came out and she kind of hinted maybe a sense of that she's going to go after her title at WrestleMania or something like that. I have no idea what's going on with that, but that's whatever it's going to be is what it's going to be. I really particularly don't care. From there, we had AJ Styles versus Luke Harper. As you already know, I stated this. This match was superb. I love this match. I give it a 4.5 out of 5 stars. Maybe I'm being a little too generous and it ain't that high in a rating, but I'm going to give it 4.5 out of 5 stars just because of how well Luke Harper and AJ Styles put this match together. And there was a bit of controversy. AJ Styles hit the phenomenal forearm on Luke Harper. Luke Harper put his leg on the rope to get a rope break, but the referee didn't see it. Shane McMahon came out, restarted the match. AJ was kind of pissed off, seeing a little bit of the seams, seeing a little bit of the stuff coming on, unfolding to the storyline of Shane McMahon and AJ Styles. AJ is arguing back outside the ring with Shane, and he's a little bit upset by the situation. And Luke Harper tries to kick AJ Styles in the back of the head, but happens to kick Shane McMahon instead, knocks him out cold. AJ gets the 450 splash off the top rope and gets the win. With that being said, though, it is kind of a little weird that AJ Styles wins this match. I really think that this is creating too much complication in building towards WrestleMania for the world title. It also, I mean, it's helping the storyline with Shane and AJ because it's making even more complication, making more stress and more intensity between the two build up into a match for WrestleMania. I can understand that, but at the same time, you're kind of making this even more complicated than it has to be. All the match had to do is be restarted, and Luke Harper wins the match, and that's it. That's all that had to be done. Instead, we get AJ Styles winning the match, helping him still looking strong, but at the same time, causing more complication to the fucking World Championship match. So I don't know what the fuck that's all about. But, great match overall, and should leave more twists and turns than we asked for leading into WrestleMania. But, am I going to say it's a bad idea? Not really. I think it is going to make things a little bit more new and fresh for storyline telling, but at the same time, you don't have to make it so complicated. But, I'll just go ahead and say, let's go with the punches, see how things go, see how this all unfolds. It should be pretty interesting. If they do it smart, it might work out really well. I don't see why it won't. SmackDown's been doing a lot of things right lately over the last, since they started having the brand split. So I have to admit that. So I definitely look forward to seeing how this all unfolds for AJ Styles and Shane McMahon to have a match at WrestleMania. I still say they should just fucking have AJ Styles go ahead and compete at WrestleMania for the world title in a triple threat match. Now here's another twist or thing they could go with. Randy Orton calls himself out. Calls himself to be out of the WrestleMania main event match for the world title against Bray Wyatt because Bray is world champion. Alright, you want to play mind games? You want to play all this stupid monarchy bullshit? At the end of the show, we also do see... I'm not going to go over all the other shit. Dolph Ziggler, let me just get straight to the point. Dolph Ziggler goes ahead and wins a match against Apollo Crews in a chairs match. He beats the living shit out of him. Apollo's been buried consistently. Kurt Hawkins was supposed to face Dean Ambrose in a one-on-one match. That was null and void. Dean Ambrose just dirty deeds his ass and calls out Baron Corbin, leaving you as the audience knowing that they're going to build a match with Baron Corbin versus Dean Ambrose. And personally, how I feel on this is, for the Intercontinental title, Dean Ambrose should lose to Baron Corbin at WrestleMania. WrestleMania should be the moment where Baron Corbin gets his and he wins the Intercontinental title, leading into maybe another match into the next pay-per-view, and then leaving that completely done. But that's how I feel about that. I think the title around Dean Ambrose really shouldn't be there. Dean Ambrose already qualifies himself as a main eventer. They should start having him string a lot of wins, get it up against some bigger stars in the SmackDown brand, and then eventually winning back the world title. I think that's where they need to lead Dean Ambrose back to a world championship reign, and give him a better opportunity with the world title than he did the first time around. But leading into Bray Wyatt, Randy Orton segment, and then I'll close out this review. Randy Orton finally comes out of his shell and finally tells Bray Wyatt what he thinks of him, what he's been doing. His saying is, I did come out in October and said, if you can't beat him, join him. Well, I got a new saying. You join him, screw him. And he goes ahead, he sees Sister Abigail's buried body underneath the wood that he pulled open. You see worms crawling all over it. You think that maybe they're going to go ahead and introduce a Sister Abigail character as if she came back from the dead. I think that would be a very good deal they could do with a female superstar to bring her up from NXT to WWE. And I know exactly the perfect person to play Sister Abigail if they decided to go this route. They could go with the woman who plays on Insanity with Eric Young. I forgot her name. Please excuse me the fact that I don't know. I will definitely find out about that before I get onto Fastlane's prediction video that I'll be doing after this. But she would play perfectly as Sister Abigail. If you wanted to introduce a NXT female wrestler to play that role, she would be it. She would be perfect for that role. And I think that would be awesome. Now, with her being dead and buried, I guess you could go ahead and say, no, don't bring a character up of Sister Abigail and leave it alone. But at the end of the day, he says, I'm coming after your title. I'm not going ahead and sitting out WrestleMania for you. I'm coming after your belt and after you. I mean, that was pretty badass. Not to mention, he burns down the house of Sister Abigail, where they had all those promos throughout the years. When they're not in the ring, they're in that barn, and he burns it to the fucking ground. And then he stands there and he poses like he always does, and it was fucking picture perfect. That whole storyline, the whole segment was awesome. Bray Wyatt begging for him not to do this, wishing he would stop. It was awesome. Bray Wyatt was awesome in the ring with his acting, and fucking Randy Orton was picture perfect with everything he did in that whole entire video package that he did to be shown on the Titantron. I think that was fucking sweet as hell. Now, getting into AJ Styles as number one contender now, and Randy Orton reclaiming himself back into the WrestleMania World title picture. This is how I would put it. Luke Harper, at this point, based on what you've done, okay, you're not going to be able to put Luke Harper in this picture. You're not going to make Luke Harper be a number one contender, make it a triple threat match, and do the three-man Wyatt family deal that they were talking about. That should have been Luke Harper's win over AJ Styles, and they should have just stuck with that. You want rating grabber? You want people to tune into this shit? Make Randy Orton versus AJ Styles number one contenders match on Smackdown to determine the number one contender at WrestleMania 33. And just keep it Bray Wyatt versus Randy Orton. That is what they need to do. Now, you want to give Luke Harper his spotlight. Yes, he has performed very well in the last couple of months. He has been very intriguing. He has, kind of knew right along the way Randy Orton was going to backstab Bray Wyatt and the Wyatt family. So here's the deal. You can easily fix that whole situation. Bray Wyatt beats Randy Orton WrestleMania. And then Bray Wyatt says, you know what? I screwed you. I didn't believe anything you said. I hurt you. I screwed over my own brother. And didn't believe him. And that was my mistake. In return, you're getting a world championship match against me. At the whatever pay-per-view SmackDown's getting. I think Bray Wyatt, Luke Harper for the world championship would be a great idea. Of course, Bray Wyatt would walk away retaining the championship, because Luke Harper at this point still needs to string along a couple of more wins, get some more opponents under his belt where he beats them, and then eventually, if he is what the WWE officials see him as, make him a world champion. That's all I have to say on that subject. But does he deserve a world title shot? Absolutely. I definitely see that in his future. I just don't see that he should be in a triple threat match. I don't think there should be a triple threat match for Bray Wyatt. Bray Wyatt's already had a triple threat match. He defended it the day after, or 2 days after, he won the goddamn world championship at Elimination Chamber. Why would you put him in another triple threat match? That's so stupid. So no. It should be Randy Orton, AJ Styles, number one contender. Shane McMahon comes out, he says, look, AJ, I understand you won your match against Luke Harper. You are the number one contender. But Randy Orton won the Royal Rumble. He's had his issues with Bray Wyatt. He played a little fucking mind game. Okay, so he's fucking himself, and you got an opportunity to take him out of the picture completely where it's just one-on-one. AJ Styles won't like it, but he'll go along with the idea. He'll have to have the match, or he won't be able to go to WrestleMania at all. Randy Orton and AJ Styles compete one-on-one. Randy Orton wins, gets to 1-2-3 with an RKO. Simple as that. Done. No complication, no nothing. There's your solution. There's your answer to Shane McMahon, AJ Styles, and it gets right back to square one where it should have been from the beginning. Randy Orton, Bray Wyatt, one-on-one for the World Championship at WrestleMania. Fuck this heel face bullshit with Bray Wyatt and Randy Orton. They are an in-between two. You don't know what one they are. Bray Wyatt hasn't been talking a lot of shit to the audience. He's actually been very nice to the audience. He hasn't called them idiots. He hasn't called them people that are blind. He is pretty much going towards the audience and pretty much being a face type character in this situation when interacting with the fans. Bray Wyatt hasn't been cheating either. He's been winning cleanly. So at this point, it don't matter who the fuck is a face or a heel between Randy Orton and Bray Wyatt. All that matters is Bray Wyatt gets over on Randy Orton and gets the 1, 2, 3 to retain his championship. Randy Orton does not need to win another world title unless at some point he goes up against somebody else that's been a big time guy who's already been established and they want to give him another title shot and go with another title run. I wouldn't have a problem with Randy Orton winning a world title, but not right now. Him winning against Bray Wyatt would be completely, utterly stupid. The title's been changed the title would have been changed 3 different times if that happens within a 3-month period. That's stupid. You don't do that shit. No way. So yeah, my attitude is this. Randy Orton, Bray Wyatt, 1-on-1 for the World Championship. Bray Wyatt goes over cleanly on Randy Orton just like he's done on John Cena. And that's all I have to say on this subject. Smackdown was fucking awesome. Good event. Enjoyed myself. And I can't wait to see what unfolds for next week on SmackDown. Raw, on the other hand, can go suck a limp dick. Anyway, guys, thank you very much for watching. Hit the like button if you liked the video, as well as leave your comments down below. I'd definitely like to get back to you on that. And hit the subscribe button. Thank you and have a great night, guys. Bye.